All right, let's jump right in. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. It sounds like the kind of simple advice your parents would give you, right? Almost a little old-fashioned. But what if I told you that simple phrase is connected to a fundamental principle of life that's over 350 million years old? Yeah, to really get it, we have to look somewhere pretty unexpected. We have to look at lobsters. Seriously. It turns out these crustaceans, of all things, share a deep secret with us. A secret about hierarchy, about confidence, and about brain chemistry that goes back eons. They're all caught up in this ancient, high-stakes game that, believe it or not, tells us a profound truth about our own brains. You see, for a lobster crawling around on the ocean floor, life is just a constant battle for territory. Having the best shelter means you're safe from predators, you get better food, and you have a way higher chance of attracting a mate. Good territory isn't just a nice to have, it's literally the difference between life and death. And because the best spots are always in short supply, conflict is just inevitable. But here's the thing. An all-out physical fight is incredibly risky. I mean, even if you win, you could get seriously hurt, maybe lose a claw, and that just makes you a target for the next guy who comes along. So over millions and millions of years, nature came up with this really complex dance, a dance of dominance designed to figure out who's the top lobster, ideally without anyone getting torn apart. And it's this carefully escalating dance of intimidation. It starts with just posturing. They puff themselves up, flash their big claws, try to look as tough as possible. They even spray chemicals that are basically broadcasting their size and health. If nobody backs down from that, they move on to this tense probing, kind of like boxers circling each other, testing for weakness. Only then, if it's still a draw, does it get physical with a wrestling match. The actual limb-tearing combat, that is the absolute last resort because it's just too dangerous for everyone. Now, the results of these fights is huge. It's not just about winning a patch of sand. The fight literally rewires the lobster's brain. It changes its chemistry, which then changes its posture and how it's going to act in the future. And just look at this contrast. It is night and day. The winner's posture completely transforms. It stands tall, stretched out, basically broadcasting its confidence to the world. And its brain? It gets a huge surge of serotonin. But the loser is the exact opposite. It physically scrunches up, it looks defeated, and its brain chemistry flips to a state of high stress. It doesn't just lose the fight, its entire reality just changed. And this is where it gets really wild. This is the connection. If you give a defeated, depressed lobster a dose of serotonin, the exact same neurochemical that antidepressants like Prozac target in humans, it will stretch itself back out and get ready to fight again, even against the lobster that just beat it. The chemistry that governs a lobster's confidence is fundamentally the same as ours. It's mind-blowing. So no, this is not some fluke or some crazy coincidence. It is proof of a system so basic, so critical for survival, that nature decided to keep it around for an almost unimaginable amount of time. Let me try to put this into perspective for you. 350 million years ago, the ancestors of lobsters were already using this system. That means dominance hierarchies are older than trees. This system for figuring out who's on top and who's on the bottom was just a permanent feature of the environment that all complex life, including our own ancient ancestors, had to adapt to. It is baked right into our biology. And this whole winner-take-all thing isn't just for lobsters. It's a fundamental principle of, well, almost everything. In just about any field you can think of, a very small number of people produce most of the output. It's a harsh reality. And that ancient brain of ours is wired to be super sensitive to where we stand in that hierarchy, because for 350 million years, being at the bottom meant you got nothing. So, okay, let's bring all this back to you. Because deep down in your brain, way below your conscious thoughts, there's a version of this ancient system. It's like a primordial calculator, and it is constantly monitoring your social standing. Think of it like a master control system. It's always watching. It sees how people treat you, it tracks your successes and your failures, and it assigns you a status. And that status, that position, powerfully shapes how you see the world, what you feel, and how you end up acting. And yeah, just like that victorious lobster, if your inner calculator decides your status is high, your brain rewards you with a nice, steady flow of serotonin. You feel calm, you feel confident, you feel ready for anything. But if it senses that your status is low, it cuts off the supply, just like in the defeated lobster. And suddenly, the world starts to look a lot less like a place of opportunity and a lot more like a place full of threats. So here it is. Here's the crucial link. When we feel defeated or low status, our posture reflexively follows. We slouch, we look at the ground, we literally make ourselves smaller. In that moment, we are physically taking on the posture of a vanquished lobster, sending a powerful signal to ourselves and to everyone else that we've lost. But, and this is where it gets really incredible, this is not just a one-way street. Your brain affects your body, for sure, but your body also affects your brain. You can actually intentionally tap into this ancient system and create a positive feedback loop. Your physical posture is a signal. This is so important. It is not just the result of how you feel, it is an input to that ancient status calculator. How you hold your body is sending a constant stream of information back to your brain about who you are and where you belong. So think about what that means for a second. When you slouch, you're not just resting your muscles. You are sending a physical signal of defeat straight to your brain. Your brain responds by turning down the confidence chemical, serotonin, which in turn makes you feel more anxious and stressed. And how do you react when you feel anxious? You probably slouch even more. It becomes this vicious cycle that can keep you trapped at the bottom. But you can break that loop. You can interrupt the cycle. By consciously choosing to stand up straight, you send a completely different signal. You are telling that ancient calculator that you're competent, that you're confident, that you're willing to face the challenges of life head-on. So to stand up straight with your shoulders back is to voluntarily adopt the posture of someone who's winning. It encourages the flow of serotonin. It makes you feel less anxious, more confident. And you know what? It actually changes how other people respond to you, which just reinforces that positive signal. It's an act of defiance. It's a decision to engage with the world as a capable, powerful force. It all comes down to this simple, physical act that kicks off an incredibly powerful feedback loop. So I'll leave you with this question. Right now, in this very moment, what message is your posture sending to that ancient part of your brain?